Assalamu alaikum dear students. Today we are going to discuss about sentence. In this lecture we'll discuss that how sentences are constructed and how different types of sentences are formed. It shows you how to punctuate each type correctly and how to combine different sentences types for effective written communication. What is a complete sentence? Sentence provide us with the framework for the clear written expression of our ideas. The aim in writing is always to write in complete sentence which are correctly punctuated. Dear students, sentences always begin with a capital letter and end in either a full stop, exclamation, or question mark. A complete sentence always contains a verb, expresses a complete idea, and makes sense standing alone. We have to look here some examples. Ali reads quickly. This is a complete sentence as it contains a verb, reads, expresses a complete idea, and it does not need any further information for the reader to understand the sentence. When Ali reads is an incomplete sentence. It contains a verb, but the opening word when tells us that something happens when Ali reads. We need more information to complete the idea. Number third example is when Ali reads, he reads quickly. This is now a complete sentence as the whole idea of the sentence has been expressed. This is another theory which should not be ignored. There is another theory which should not be ignored. The proposal was finally rejected, although they considered it. These are some other examples here. So, to check that you are writing in a complete sentence, try reading your sentence aloud, passing as indicated by the punctuation. Can each sentence stand alone as a complete thought? If further information is needed to complete the idea, then it is not a complete sentence. Now we have to look types of sentences. As well as being able to write in complete sentences, it is important to be able to use variety of sentences types that are correctly punctuated. Dear students, sentences are made up of clauses, groups of words that expresses a single idea. There are two types of clauses, independent clause and dependent clause. Independent clause can stand alone as complete sentences. A dependent clause needs an independent clause to complete its meaning. Different types of sentences are made up of different combination of these types of clauses. So now we have to look the types of sentences. First of all, here it is simple sentences. Simple sentences consist of just one independent clause. It requires only one punctuation mark at the end, a full stop, exclamation or question mark. For example, the essay was late. Now we have to look compound sentences. Compound sentences are made by joining simple sentences We join sentences which are closely related in content to make the writing more fluid. We can join simple sentences with a comma and a word such as and, but, so, yet. So now we have to look for examples. The essay was late, so he lost marks. We can also join simple sentences with the semicolon. The essay was late, he lost marks. Now you can see that we have used semicolon. Number 3 is complex sentences. Dear students, complex sentences are made when we combine an independent clause with a dependent clause. The dependent clause in the example is in italics. Now, because his essay was late, he lost marks. Comparing these two examples, it can be seen that the emphasis tends to fall on the clause at the beginning of the sentence. Vary your placement of dependent clauses in order to emphasize the most important idea in the sentence. Common ways to begin a dependent clause are the although, as, because, even, if, instead, through, when, whenever, where, and while. While more than one independent clause can be used in a sentence, they must always be combined with an independent clause to complete the idea. Again, the dependent clause in the example are in italics. So, although there are many of whom were prominent citizens, the policy still stands today. Different type of sentences can be combined to form compound complex sentences. In the example, the central independent clause combines two sentences types. It serves as both the ending of the complex sentences and the beginning of the compound sentences. When considering owning a pet, you must calculate the cost or the animal may suffer. When punctuating a compound complex sentence, apply the rules for both compound and complex sentences. The example with dependent clause separated from the central clause by comma, as earlier we have discussed. As in the rule for complex sentences, at the end of the sentence, the independent clause is joined by a comma and the word or, as in the rule for the compound sentence. Basically, these all things we have been discussed. So now we have to discuss about using different sentence types. Dear students, once you are aware of the different types of sentences construction, you can then choose and correctly punctuate the most helpful type of sentences for the expression of your idea. The following series of short sentences, while grammatically correct, are jerky and abrupt. Now look at the example. Jackie is confident. She is a good speaker. She is considered to be an excellent presenter. Everyone finds her interesting. No one has been critical. She is supportive of others. These sentences can be combined to make more fluid writing by combining sentences which are closely related using the rules described earlier. Now look at the example. Jackie is confident. Now we are using the comma. And she is a good speaker. She is considered to be an excellent presenter. Everyone finds her interesting. Now again we are using the comma. And no one has been critical as she is supportive of others. Now look at other example. The following sentence is overly long and complicated. By shortening sentences that could confuse the reader, you can make the writing easier to follow. If you consider buying a puppy, whatever age or breed, always consider the type of house you have, as this is the most important first step, because without considering this first you can find yourself with a dog that despite your good intentions you just cannot keep. If you consider buying a puppy, whatever age or breed, always consider the type of house you have. This is the most important first step. Without considering this first, you can find yourself with a dog that you just cannot keep despite your good intentions. Dear students, now you have to look the first example and then compare the second example that we are using the comma. Basically, that's the thing which we are going to discuss today. Dear student, use these guidelines to identify types of sentence construction in your own writing. To check the clarity of your sentence structure, try reading the writing aloud, stopping as indicated by the punctuation. Does each sentence stand on its own as a complete idea? Use the guidelines to either break an overly long sentence into shorter sentences or join abrupt sentences together to make the writing more fluid. Varying the length and types of sentences while ensuring correct punctuation will improve the clarity of your written expression. Dear students, today we have discussed about the sentence. In our today's lecture, we have discussed sentence structure, what is a complete sentence, types of sentences. We have discussed clause, independent clause, dependent clause, simple sentence, compound sentence, complex tense, as well as we have seen the example, and at the end we have discussed using different sentence type, that how you have to use the different sentence types in your daily life. Dear students, that was all for today. Inshallah, we'll be there soon with a new lecture. Thank you.